Okay, so these are foil packed potatoes and
Is that
carrots.
the Steve Wallace special?
Sure. And then chicken, they're Gouda, I think Gouda apple sausages. We're up here at Peaceful Pines getting the wagon loaded, and we're going to, in a little bit, we're going to get our gravel delivery to make a little parking pad. So we're going to get some stuff unloaded, and then in probably about an hour, we'll have our delivery.
Okay, we got most of the stuff out of the car. Kind of a modge podge of stuff all stacked up here. Tent looked just fine. Dealt with the rain last week, and everything is intact and dry inside, outside of where the rug was at, which I knew that was wet when I left. So, going to kind of gather some things here, head down to the bottom there, lay that weed barrier before we get the rock delivered, so it doesn't disappear in the soil, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so Joey and I laid down this weather tarping, whatever you want to call it. What? Well, weed barrier. And so he's laying down just one more piece here along the edge, and we will have our rock delivery soon. Okay, so we got the rock delivery, which you see, and then Joey and I just had to spread it out, and it's pretty good. It's going to settle over time, but it works for what we need it to, especially if it gets muddy. We will be able to get in and out of our little driveway, I guess we can call it driveway, off the road. And that's what our goal was. And it'll settle over time. It only took us probably about an hour to, once it got dumped, to get to where it is now. And we'll tuck this in somehow.
Brought a cart full of wood up while we were waiting on the truck to deliver the rock. Took the chainsaw down and cut more of that tree. Gonna stack that over there. And I got the pieces to complete the bench, so I'm going to work on that, and then also get the outside campfire going, as well as the tent fire. If you watched last week, it was raining all day on Sunday, and really that's why nothing burnt. Had a struggle getting breakfast made, then pulled out after I got the tree stand hung. Fire's going. Going to work on this bench. Now, the concept comes from that image there. That's what I'm going to try to duplicate in some form or fashion using that. I've got to finish trimming that part off. The chainsaw ran out of gas last time I was doing that. So we're going to see how this turns out.
There's Joey in action, putting together this bench. Sitting bench.
What other kind of bench would there be?
A decorative bench?
No.
Alright, so he's almost done. Now he's trying to decide if he should cut it off on the top there, on the, whatever you want to call it, the side.
I'm gonna run 4-inch nails on both sides to lock it in. I think we just leave it as is.
Yeah, it's good for 2 people.
Yeah, I don't think I need to knock this down.
No, it gives it character.
Right. Okay, what I didn't get done last week, I got another IKEA bag. This one has a zipper. I knew I had one that had a zipper. I found it. Going to take and fill it, pack it full of leaf debris, and then put it behind the target underneath that black cloth where the other ones are at. And then I'm just to finish that project. Then I'm going to take and shoot the bow with the broadheads. I've got a styrofoam cooler that's packed with styrofoam so I can see if everything's flying true. Now where I'm hunting tomorrow, it is only 10 to 20 yards, so that's all I'm going to focus on today is 10 and 20 yards. A couple of shots, make sure everything works right, and call it good. Okay, so what I've done in previous videos is I got this old black fabric, nothing special, and I have IKEA bags full of leaf debris. And I'm using that as a DIY simple backstop. So when I miss the target for whatever reason, I don't have to go chase my arrow back into that stuff or in the tree or have to cut a tree down in order to get the arrow out. This works very well. So any type of IKEA bag, that lighting's really bad there. They just got that plastic tarpish material, and you can get them feed sacks like that as well, but it works really, really well. So I'm going to get that put together and then see how the arrows fly it with the broadhead. Okay, so I am shooting a 100 grain Wasp 3-blade fixed broadhead. I'm going to shoot. They are sharp. I made sure of that. I've got one that's not the best, so I'm going to utilize that just to make sure. Yeah, there it is. 3-blade. I don't even know if they make Wasp anymore. These are from the late 90s. Got them off my old bow. I put a leaf up there so I could see, put a mark on the styrofoam. That didn't help at all. Which I knew that's the process that's going to happen every time, but we're not long term here. So this is what I've got. I've got one of them ice coolers, and and what I can do is I can just unscrew broadhead and pull it out and reattach it. Can't do that with that field point target. And see, I've just got insulation inside there. So it shot. We hit right there. I was aiming right there. I'm going to call that good. We're going to go 20 now. Ten's very simple, very easy to obtain accuracy. So I'm going to go back to 20 and we'll see how 20 goes. You can stay here. I'll shoot the arrow by you. Just don't step out in the lane. I'm not sure where that hit. I think, yeah, we're way to the right. So let's try that again. I think we shot right again, so let's see what happens. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to 10 here, shoot. And if it's still pulling to the right, then I'm going to have to move the sights to the right to get it back when, with the field points it was doing fine. So let's see what we got here at 10. I think we're going to have to move the sights to the right. This is why we try it with the broadhead. That's okay. So we've concluded something's gotten bumped. So that was shooting the same spot as the broadhead was. So I'm going to do some adjustments, take a few more shots, and then let you know how things conclude. So after quite a bit of shooting, that's at 10 yards. I'm aiming at the leaf. And then, here, let me show you. That's at 10 yards. 20 yards has been consistently right here. So, I know it's the way I'm holding the bow because everything should be at least consistent in the general area. So, if this is where you're aiming at on a deer, even if you catch it over here, it's still going to be an ethical kill. I haven't shot at 30. I'm not going to shoot at 30 because I'm not shooting. There's nowhere in the tree stand that I'm currently going to hunt at. I've only got one up right now, and 17 is as far as it would allow me to shoot at the very max. So, when I do get into a tree stand that exceeds 20 yards, then I'll start fiddling with the 30-yard broadhead shooting, seeing how that works, but there's no need to put effort into it if I'm not going to use it right now, and most opportunities probably going to be in that 20-yard mark. It's not like I'm not on any edge of fields where I would have a 30, 40, or 50-yard opportunity. So that's where I'm at. Supper's on the fire. We'll see what Holly's got cooking.
Okay, so for dinner we're going to have these delicious chicken sausages, which we're not grilling yet, and I made foil packs of potatoes and carrots with a little seasoning. It's called adobo seasoning, but it's not that like particular brand. It's from a spice store. It's like garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, oregano, paprika, something else. I don't know. But it's delicious. So we're waiting for the foil packs to get done, and then we'll get the chicken going because it doesn't take very long to cook the sausages. They're pre-cooked, so you're just basically warming them up. So we're cooking the chicken sausages over the grill fire, and then the little foil packets are down there finishing up. We'll have dinner soon. Okay, so these are foil packed potatoes and carrots. Is that the
Steve Wallace special?
Sure. And then chicken, they're Gouda, I think Gouda apple sausages. Good morning. Hopefully you can see this okay with the lighting in the tent. But it is Saturday morning and Joey is out hunting. I've been up, I don't know, probably about half an hour. I got up a little bit after 6:45, I think, and now it's like 7. And he's out hunting in the woods. I'm very excited for him. He hasn't hunted for, like, I think 15 years. So that's very exciting. I'm just relaxing in the tent here. The stove kept us warm. I'm reading my book. It's called The Sand County Almanac. It's by Elder Leopold. It's like essays about what he did in mid to south central Wisconsin on his farmstead. He's a well known environmental conservationist guy in Wisconsin. So, yeah, good morning. Oh, and here's the outside. It's supposed to be a pretty nice day in the upper 60s and sun kind of in and out of the clouds, partly to mostly sunny.
Good morning. Been in the tree stand a couple of hours. Haven't had any real activity. Squirrel, some birds. Other than that, nothing to speak of. 54 degrees. Opening day of archery season in Wisconsin. So I'm going to climb down, go back to camp, see what Holly's up to, and reevaluate what we're going to do today. I'm thinking I'm going to throw the drone up, and I'm wanting to go back. I want to take the drone and fly it kind of over in this area and see if there's an open spot or something that looks promising that I could throw the other tree stand up this afternoon and hunt in it this evening, or potentially tomorrow morning as well. Not that this one's bad, just haven't seen the activity here that I thought I might. I think it was Thursday afternoon, about 1 o'clock, had a spike buck come in, walk directly under the stand and in front of the trail camera that's just down below me here. So I'm about 60 yards from camp. When the leaves drop, I'll be able to see the tent from here. So that's where we're at, and it's a damp morning. Had some fog mist roll in. That's kind of cleared out now, so that's where we're at. So back at camp, I keep all my hunting stuff in this Rubbermaid tub. It's got a scent wafer that smells like earth, so I just keep everything in there, even stuff I'm not going to wear, just to keep that fragrance, that cover scent going. So I'm going to get breakfast going here, get the fire restarted, and then put the drone up and see what I can find over there and some other projects we'll have going on today.
I'm pressing my coffee. Alright, so we got some hash brown potato things and some maple sausages getting cooked up over the fire here. And got the coffee going. It's a beautiful last week in the summer Saturday morning. The sun is out. Joey's fixing some foods. And yeah, gotta love it up here in the northwoods. Okay, so I'm seasoning the pie iron, aka Pudgy Pie Maker, whatever you want to call it. It has seasoning directions on it when you buy it. I'm sure you could look them up online too. It's just a simple little process with some oil and over the fire and scrubbing and things like that. It's pretty basic. And so that's what I'm doing. Over here, Joey is dealing with some punky wood.
It's pine wood on a normal piece here. 60 to 70% still good. It's just muck on the outside. So I'm trimming that muck off best I can and then letting it dry. And then this was done, a month ago, and that's almost completely dry. That'll be fine for campfire, or if I need pine wood to burn hot in the stove, I can come in here and trim that punkiness off and then have a really good solid piece of pine. So it's just too good of a piece of wood. It's part of it trying to cut a trail. It's too good of wood just to let there and rot when I can salvage 60 to 70% of the wood and it'd be hot and let it dry. And if nothing else, on a hot campfire, throw it on there and it'll burn just fine if you don't want to put it inside the tent or inside your stove inside. So in the process of getting another cart of wood back, there's camp. Back over here, where I've gotten several carts before, I noticed I've got this trail here that goes 60 yards and there's still another 60 that's got to get cut. But deer droppings, camp. Now there is, I think, a kind of a funnel that they go that way. So otherwise we would have seen them on the security camera, the tactic cam running through camp. They chose to continue to go forward. It looks two separate, or a pair of deer. I have had a pair of deer on camera, a larger doe and a smaller doe, but they didn't go that way. They went that way. They know we're here. And then this morning when I was hunting 40 yards that way, I heard a snort. The woods was dead silent. You could have, I could hear Holly cough from the tent, and that would be 60 yards from the deer stand. So probably 80-ish yards, 100 yards back in that way, a deer snorted. So I know they're here. I'm going to put up going to go back and go deeper in the woods, leave the stand that I currently was hunting on this morning alone and go deeper in a little while. Okay, so one of the projects here is to take that other dome tent we have. We've got an Ozark Trail 8x8 tent, 4-person tent. And we're going to put it right here. It doesn't need to be level because nobody's sleeping in it. It's going to be our outdoor storage shed. We've got stuff in the tent that is important, stuff under the bed, the extra mats, the tent bags, stuff that drying rack stuff that doesn't need to go in the tent, don't have space for it in the tent, but we can put it out here. It's going to stay dry and we have access to it. So I've created a little path here, and then that is the footprint. I may have to make it bigger, but it's just somewhere to store things. So I'm going to put that up because there's no sense having a second tent that's not being used because we don't need it. So we're going to utilize it over here. Got the Ozark Trail 4-person dome tent put up for our outdoor storage shed. I think possibly that wagon could back in there and fit. I mean, we've got a lot of place. There's still a few more things in the tent that I want to put in, but it's just somewhere to kind of dump some stuff instead of keep dumping it in the tent. Now I'm not going to, I've got kerosene for our lanterns, oil and gas for the chainsaw. I'm not going to put that in there. Just not necessary. I don't need to have some kind of weird reaction happen and that catch fire. That's been there since day one. It's going to stay there. It's hidden away. You can't really see it. But made a path. So it's a good little outdoor storage shed. And there'll be other things that will be added to that tent until we have to take it down later on this late fall, early winter. So if you do want to see, I did use this as in a camping trip and did a review on it. If you want to see that, that will be in the upper right corner, or if you're on a different device, it'll be in the show notes, or just go to our channel and type in Ozark Trail 4-person dome tent review. Alright, next project is, here's a wooden crate that I've turned into a wood storage for in the tent. That's what helped last week when it was wet. The wood in here was dry, was able to get things going. I'm going to take this cardboard box and create a liner for it, because so we just don't have chunks of wood falling down and we'll have to keep cleaning if we, you know, all that stuff. It's easy to deal with that. So just going to piece it, cut it, mold it into the shape of the crate, and then fill the wood box up with good dry wood. Alright, very rough, but it will be effective, and if it gets wore out, I can always replace it. So I'm going to put that wood in there and then top the box off with good dry wood, so when it does rain again, I can have dry wood to start both fires. I'll probably get some of that there and mix in a little elm and maybe a couple of dry pieces. Well, there's pine in there, and get some of this elm and oak there, and get that completed. If you made it this far, let's put deer in the comments below, and we will conclude this video next week in part 2. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you then.